Hi guys, it's Elisa with Fusion DIY. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm headed back up to North Jersey to continue to clean out my parents' home, and you'll see some of the amazing things that I have found. If you like Christmas ornaments and you like fabric and thread and all those other wonderful sewing notions, you're in for a treat. Let's get to the video and I'll see you at the end. The first box that I pulled out of the attic was this box. My mom used to be a crafter and she did shows, and I found some of the things that she made and that were never sold and that she packed away. So I'm going to have fun redoing some of these projects over the next several weeks. I love that coal scuttle, and that's got a porcelain handle to it. Then I found a couple of brooms, which I really didn't care for, and I am not going to be keeping these. There was 2 of them in this box. They looked very, very dated, and so I decided that it would be too much work to redo them, and so I am going to get rid of those. The same thing with these wreaths. I've had them in my booth before, but they just don't sell, so I'm probably going to get rid of those as well. Now these are vintage gift tags, and I think that they are just beautiful. Look at the artwork that goes into these. They are so pretty. And there's 2 of Santa, and then this last one I think is just beautiful. I'm definitely keeping those. Now I have a set of perfume bottles that are identical to this upstairs on my bureau. I don't know what this is for. If you guys know what this might have been used for, I'd love to know. And then we come to the shiny bright ornaments. I cannot tell you how many boxes of shiny bright ornaments I found. This is an example of some of them, and I'll give you a little bit of a closer look in just a moment. Does anybody remember these? These sweet little angels sat on a tabletop, and they are just darling, and I remember those. Now, when I was out at Sonnet's retreat back in the beginning of October, I saw an empty box similar to this with a piece of jute wrapped around it for sale. And then we came to another box of Shiny Brights. This box was a little bit rough condition, probably because it's been stored in the attic for many, many years. And I'm going to show you how to identify the Shiny Brights in a moment, but I wanted you to see some of these unique ornaments. So how you determine a Shiny Bright bulb? Look at the collar of the bulb. They typically have a scalloped edge, and this one says Made in the USA. I know it's a little bit difficult to read, but it definitely says it, and I'll show you some other examples in just a moment. Here's another one, and you can see on the top, it says right on it, Shiny Bright, Made in the USA. And these are definitely vintage Shiny Bright ornaments. As I did my research, I found that during World War II, some of them did not have the silver nitrate on the inside. Here's another example. This one has a rusted top, but it does say Shiny Bright, even though you may not be able to see it. And some of the silver nitrate is starting to come off on the inside of the bulb. These boxes are probably from the 1950s because they have the cellophane on them. But there are other boxes, such as this one, that is from the 1940s. And if you happen to notice, you see Uncle Sam with Santa, and that's how you can tell that they are wartime ornaments. I thought this one was really pretty as well. This is also definitely a shiny bright, and the reflection of my red sweatshirt on the ornament, that's what you see there. But you can barely make out shiny bright on the top of the collar. And then there's just a few others that I wanted to show you. Again, these are all shiny brights. This is a really pretty one, and I have several of those in different colors. And I just thought it was so pretty. And the one underneath it, this one that I'm going to pull out now, I believe is from the war era, 1940s, because at the time they were not able to use the metal collars on the ornaments, so they were strung with string. And then here's another one, I think this is a more recent one, probably late 50s, early 60s. Nonetheless, beautiful. Okay, so let's get back to some of the other beautiful ornaments that I found in the attic. This is a tree topper. It's a hand-blown glass tree topper. Again, another box of Shiny Bright, and you can see Santa and Uncle Sam shaking hands. And look at the luster of these ornaments. Just beautiful. I don't believe that this is a Shiny Bright, but it is a German ornament. It's very, very fragile. The glass is very, very thin, and there I almost dropped it. Good thing it landed on the bed. But it's just a beautiful ornament. So a lot of these I am going to keep. Some of them I will sell just because I need to thin out my stash. But nonetheless, they are beautiful. I'm going to also give my children an opportunity to pick the ones that they would like to have. And then I'll put the rest in my booth for sale. Now I slowed this down a little bit because I want to tell you a story. I worked for B. Altman and Company in my career, and I worked in the distribution center in Totowa, New Jersey, but I also traveled into New York City, into the store, and what a beautiful store. The building was built right after the Civil War, and it was just amazing at Christmas time. It truly was old world New York. Okay, I have a question. Does anybody know why there is a bug on this ornament? I'm trying to understand. It's an old ornament. I don't know what the significance is. If you know, please let me know down in the comments. This box says rejects, and I'm not sure why, but there were definitely no rejects in this box. They're all beautiful. I do not believe that these are Shiny Brights because when I look at the collars, well, that one might be, but they're a mix and some of them are not the Shiny Brights. I think that one is too. Now, obviously, this is a more contemporary ornament, but I thought that was really kind of cool. It almost looks like a disco ball. And here's another box with Santa and Uncle Sam shaking hands. That's a wartime box. Oh, I think I was holding this because I wanted you to see that there were plants. There was one in North Bergen, one in Irvington, one in West New York, and one in Hoboken, New Jersey, right across the river from New York City. Now, I don't know if anybody remembers these, but these were the aluminum collars that went on the lights that you put on your tree so that they would add extra illumination, extra sparkle. They were made of aluminum and the other ones were made of foil. I thought those were really interesting. These are definitely not shiny bright, and you can see the collar on them is very different. Nonetheless, I thought that they were just beautiful, and so I wanted to share some of those with you as well. Okay, you guys got to see these big mamma jammas. I remember putting these on our Christmas tree as a little girl, my mother saying, "Be careful. These are the large ones and they're very fragile." And yes, they definitely were, but look at how big they are. In my adult hand, they're very large. I just thought that they are so pretty, and it's likely that I am going to keep these as well. Okay, now we're going to jump over to the sewing room. So you can see this Martha Washington table. That was full of all kinds of thread and everything else. And all of this, that was my very first sewing kit. It's full of buttons, vintage thread, snaps, hooks and eyes, buttons. Oh, you name it. Guys, I found it. There was just so much. And then I also found cones of thread, of knitting thread, and that red tin is full of vintage thread, ribbon, and buttons. There's tons of vintage buttons at the bottom of this piece. I also found set after set after set. I must have found about 20 pair of scissors, and these are a set of pinking shears, which are in excellent condition, and I was happy to see those. And then I wanted to show you some of the fabrics. Now, my dad used to work for a company that did all kinds of reupholstery, and he actually repaired a lot of the vintage furniture. He worked on 200-year-old pieces, antique pieces, and things like that. He was a master craftsman. And the company that he worked for would let him take home any of the fabrics that were no longer needed, or perhaps they had been replaced with more contemporary pieces. These are all those samples that you see when you go to pick out a piece of furniture, and you can choose what fabric you want on it. And so what I did was I just cut them off of the cardboard that they would hang on. But these are pieces that I could use either to reupholster a seat or a bench, or I could even make pillows with them. I just thought that they were beautiful pieces of fabric, and I can completely understand why my mom decided to keep them. Look at that one. Isn't that pretty? I just love them. I mean, there's some pieces that were not really my style, but there definitely were pieces in here. That's a piece of chintz, and I've never been a fan of that, but okay, somebody's going to love it. That's a beautiful piece. I mean, there's some really nice pieces, and so I decided to just put them back in the box, and I have to make some room in my sewing room for these pieces of fabric. And once I do that, then I will take them home with me. Now listen, don't judge. I know that has a very 70s, 80s look to it, but it would be great on a stool. That's a beautiful piece as well. And you can see how dusty it is in that room. You can see the particles of dust flying by in front of the lens of the camera. That's a beautiful piece as well. Just plain. Would be great in a man cave. That's a really pretty piece. It's pinks and red. I just thought that was beautiful. There's another one. A good springtime piece. And this one I absolutely love. I think that would be great in a man cave as well. It's such an attractive piece of yard goods. That's a tapestry. Again, a very sturdy piece that I could use. This is also tapestry, and that would look awesome on a seat of some sort. This is very retro. The orange and the yellow, very retro piece, but beautiful nonetheless. That one I think is also beautiful. That's got more of an Asian feel to it, but it's beautiful. This one as well. That one's not my style so much, but somebody is going to love it, I'm sure. Another piece of chintz. This piece was absolutely beautiful, and this I can definitely see being a pillow. This piece too I thought was just beautiful, and I will make a pillow out of that. A really, really pretty piece. And then we have toile. Don't you love it? It's beautiful, and that will be a pillow, without a doubt. Another fabric that I think is really pretty. There was a couple of pieces in there that were from the Williamsburg collection, Colonial Williamsburg. Oh, this is one of them right there. You can see the symbol on the fabric. I didn't take it off because I just didn't get a chance, but that's the Colonial Williamsburg pattern. And then this one is an Old Waverly fabric. Now these pieces were the examples of what other colors you could get that fabric in. And what I decided I was going to do with these is, because they're short pieces, I am simply going to cut them and I am going to use them in a quilt top. They are perfect for that. They're basically all the same size, and there's such a variety of colors and textures, and I think that they would make an awesome quilt top. So enjoy rummaging through those. I was getting kind of tired, but I figured I would look in the bureau to see what was in there. And what do you think I found? More thread, more buttons, more. So what did you guys think of that video? Can you believe the beautiful ornaments that were stashed away for years and years and years in the attic, unfortunately, where they shouldn't be kept, but nonetheless, they're still in great condition, and I am going to sort through them. I'm going to let my children sort through them, and then the rest of them I'll probably sell either on eBay or in my booth, or a combination of both. And how about all of those fabric and sewing notions? You can't believe it. In addition to the fabric that I found that you saw in the box, there's also rolls of fabric in that room as well. And I'll have to go through those probably the next time I go up to see my brother, which will be about 2 weeks from now. But if you like this video, and I hope that you did, I'm going to ask you to please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that each time I release another video, you'll be notified. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a fantastic rest of the week, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, in the next video, I'm going to be doing a couple of DIY projects as well, so stay tuned for that, and I look forward to seeing you. Thanks, guys. Take care.